5 News This Morning starts now.
I heard somebody saying like, oh man, I need to get my kids, I need to get out of here.
Police investigating what they say was a false report of an active shooter on the U of A campus this morning. We'll hear from students and employees who sheltered in place until it was over.
And for today, there's some showers ongoing south of I-40. We'll have another chance Wednesday, but the best will be on Thursday. But this Labor Day weekend looking pretty nice. We'll go over all those bullet points here coming up in just a little bit.
Plus, President Trump says that he's firing the Federal Reserve governor. Some experts say that this could create economic shockwaves in the U.S.
We'll have a live look outside in Bentonville here at 6:30 this morning. Thanks for waking up with us. Hope you got the coffee brewing. It's filling your home with the aroma of the good stuff. And guess what? If you're one of those that like to go get your coffee,
Pumpkin spice.
Starbucks today. It's in stores.
And Danny, he gave us a good forecast for that. It's not 110 when we're going to get our pumpkin spice.
Definitely not 110. Actually, you can cut that in half in some areas. We're in the upper 50s in some spots. So it's feeling quite nice out there. Here's a look at the temperatures across the board. Eureka Springs, Carroll County there in the valley, in the upper 50s there at 58. Otherwise, the rest of the area is in the low to mid 60s. So feeling pretty nice out there. And compared to this time yesterday, we're seeing anywhere those temperatures between 5 to as low as 13 degrees there in Poto. Now, Poto, it is raining there, so that's why it feels so much cooler. But even if it's not raining along the I-40 corridor, about 6 to 8 degrees cooler there. As I was mentioning, there's that rain south of I-40. You can see in LaFleur County, a little bit in the Scott County as well. We'll zoom in here to show you. It's moderate to heavy rainfall near Heavener in the eastern half of Poto. It will continue to move through Scott County as well as southern Sebastian County, then maybe a little bit into Logan County as well. But a lot of that, again, is going to stay south of I-40. So if you're in those areas, grab that umbrella and the raincoat as you're headed out. Otherwise, northwest Arkansas, really much of the area north of I-40 is going to be dry and cloudy. As we head through the day today, a lot of that will taper off and be a pretty nice day overall. Then we'll have more chance to return tomorrow for rain, and then especially on Thursday. So we'll talk more about that, specific rain timing and amounts coming up in your full forecast. For now, let's take a live look at traffic on this Tuesday morning. More of a traffic update here. Again, we still have Highway 23 near St. Paul in Madison County. What you're seeing there is that there's power lines down across the region. About 270 customers were out power, and there could be a little bit of some traffic hazards there. Highway 23 near the intersection of Highway 16. So again, we'll give you more updates when that gets restored, as well as those lines are taken care of coming up in just a little bit. Joe and Tiffany.
All right, thanks for that, Danny. Well, University of Arkansas students are preparing to head back to class this morning. Now, this is after that report came in saying that there was an active shooter on campus yesterday.
That report has now been found to be false, but it did send the campus into lockdown on Monday. U of A police confirmed that there is no evidence that shots were fired. UAPD says that they received more than 300 landline phone calls and multiple 911 calls that covered 7 different buildings on campus.
The calls were all reporting either a shots fired or an active shooter event. The university sent out an alert urging students to what they call avoid, deny, and defend. Now, some sat in lockdown for about an hour. Multiple law enforcement agencies swept the campus buildings.
You looked at the emergency vehicles that were lined up down Maple Street, you could see how seriously we take these types of calls.
Once all buildings were clear and no suspect found, the protocols were lifted. That was around 2:45 yesterday. Now, even though this turned out to be a false report, it did feel very real for students and staff that were there and went through it.
Yeah, 5 News reporter Jacob Beluthi joins us live from the U of A campus with more on what happened and what's next. Jacob, you were there yesterday when all of this was happening, and so what are they saying this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Tiffany. Good morning, Joe. So photographer Will and I were actually on campus around noontime conducting interviews near the Student Wellness Center, had made our way back to the station, and that's when we were alerted about reports of an active shooter. We made our way right back to campus, and you can only imagine, right? We talked about the 12:30 when those first alerts came out, 2:45 when that all clear came. That is 2 hours of worried parents, students, faculty, and staff all during that time. When we had made our way back to campus, we had talked to some students, some who were in Mullins Library, saying that they had barricaded themselves inside classrooms, inside closets. Others saying that they were just running away. They had no idea what was going on. Others actually telling us that their parents were alerted first and had known what was going on before they even did, and they were stuck in classrooms. So a very scary situation yesterday. Again, this all unfolding around 12:30 p.m. yesterday. That is when students say they got these reports on their cell phones. UAPD says, as you had mentioned a little earlier, that they had received around 308 landline calls 38 911 calls that covered multiple buildings on campus, all reporting either a suspect or shots fired. UAPD now saying that it's looking as if this was another swatting call or hoax after no injuries, thankfully, or reports of gunfire had been confirmed. Now, Connor Danley says that he was on the 4th floor of Mullins Library when panic broke out. He says once the alert came through about a possible active shooter, he says he joined others in a supply closet, barricading themselves with whatever they could find inside. He says people were whispering, trying to stay quiet while rumors began circulating, but again, nothing at that point had been confirmed. He says there were no gunshots heard, just the sound of shuffling, shouting, and the alert that set everything into motion.
We moved a printer, kind of like a wardrobe closet, shelves, any large object we could to barricade the door. And I'd say that you couldn't open the door. It took us a while to get out.
The yelling started again, and I think everyone's faces, like everyone got white. Like everyone came to realization, like, is this a shooter or is this a cop, like, helping us? Like, we have no idea.
That's when it felt real.
That's when
scary.
everyone like got like down, like lower, and like super quiet. Everyone was very shaken up.
Now again, UAPD is now working to figure out exactly where those calls came from. That investigation begins now. Students are returning to class this morning. The university says that there's going to be counseling services available to students as well as the employee assistance program available to staff. I'll go ahead and send it back to you.
All right, thanks for that, Jacob. Well, Fayetteville Mayor Molly Ron posted a statement on social media saying in part that she's grateful there's no ongoing threat, but says it is troubling that a false report could create such fear, waste resources, and disrupt the community.
We'll bring you any updates on the investigation into what happened right here on 5 News. Text the word 479-785-5000. Just text plus, and we'll send you a link on how to download it. Meanwhile, universities across the country are dealing with a wave of hoaxes involving mass shootings. On Monday, students at the University of Colorado were forced to evacuate in a 3-hour ordeal that turned out to be a hoax. Some say that with the false alarms, they're becoming desensitized.
I moved pretty slow. I wasn't like, all right, let's get out of here. And I was kind of the last one in there. I thought it was kind of stupid.
A string of campus swatting incidents have happened in recent weeks in places like Tennessee, Iowa, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania.
Well, this morning, enforcement police are investigating reports of shots being fired from a vehicle on Monday. It happened there on Savannah Drive. Witnesses say the gunshots came from a vehicle with multiple people inside. Now, that vehicle was later found abandoned near Vicksburg and South 35th. A viewer near the area where the shots were fired sent us some surveillance video, he says, captures audio taking the moment the gunshots were fired. Well, the surveillance camera did not capture any video of the suspects. Police say it's unclear if they were targeting any specific person or property. Thankfully, no injuries were reported.
Well, continuing coverage on the lawsuit against an act requiring the 10 Commandments to be displayed in Arkansas classrooms. Now, the plaintiffs are asking the court to add the Conway School District to the lawsuit. According to the ACLU of Arkansas, 7 families filed the lawsuit back in June, saying the act violates the First Amendment. Earlier this month, the federal judge temporarily blocked the law from going into effect in 4 school districts that were listed as defendants in the lawsuit.
Well, President Trump says he is firing a Federal Reserve governor for the first time in the Fed's 111th year history. But Lisa Cook says she's going to keep doing the job until the courts decide if her termination is legal. Now, the president can only fire a Fed board member for cause, and Cook faces no legal charges. In a later letter, though, he claims that she, quote, may have made false statements on 1 or more mortgage agreements.
He and Jay Powell are holding the economy hostage by not cutting rates.
When executives start to try and meddle with central bank independence, that comes at real cost.
If Cook's seat becomes vacant, the president can nominate her replacement. He's pressuring board members to cut interest rates beyond what they think is good for the economy. If he succeeds, the Fed would have less control over inflation. Well, still to come, how artificial intelligence may be the future of type 2 diabetes care. We'll look at an app that could help patients in real time.
Airlines are working to improve their food offerings. I'm Wendy Gillette with one that's going the extra mile. Flying chefs on board some flights.